Hello YouTube artists, I'm Kelly Hernig and welcome to In the Studio. Today I'm going to be sharing 3 books on color and how I'm using it as inspiration for my sketchbooks. I'm going to be sharing each of these books with you, but also talking to you about what I find important, curious, intriguing, and how I want to bring that into my own world. That is what these books have done for me. They've piqued my curiosity in unbelievable ways, and I want to share that journey with you. So let me turn this around and let me share these beautiful books with you. I wanted to share these 3 art books because they have me thinking about color in a different way. I've been wanting to explore using color pencils in my watercolors, and one of the people that I'm really inspired by on YouTube is The Wild Pencil. If you don't know who that YouTuber is, please go look her up and follow her. Her art is amazing, and she is the illustrator inside these 3 books. She has a lot of different books, but these are the 3 that I chose that I wanted to really look at because I appreciate the way that she does color. So we're going to look at colors in nature, colors of habitats, and shapes and patterns in nature. I'm going to start with my favorite, which is colors in nature. And I want you to pay attention to how she does color and how she makes it interesting. So for me, when I think about blue, I just think of a denim blue or maybe a sky blue. I don't think of all the other blues. And that's what these books have done for me. They've expanded my view. So let me show you what I mean by that. I mean, just look at the simplicity of that. Beautiful. I love her details. A lot of them are done with watercolor and color pencil, and I just really like the combination of both of them. I wanted to have a greater connection with Magdalena's art, and I wanted something closer that I could actually see all the details, right? It's one thing to look at her videos and join her club, but these are books where I can actually study what she does, how she does it, and I love that. So, I mean, I just want you to look at this page. Is that not the most beautiful page of white that you've ever seen? And I love along the bottom here that she has all the different whites. Have you thought about that? Have you thought about the different values, the different tones? I mean, here they're very cold. Here they're getting warmer. They've got kind of a pinkish cast. And I like that. And I don't usually think about that. I think of buff titanium or French gray or something along that line, but I don't think about some of the softer colors that are mixed in with whites. And that's what is so thrilling about this book, because not only do I have colors down here that I can kind of explore, she's got all of these beautiful elements now that I can look up close and personal at. I mean, look at the way she's got this beautiful owl here. She's got the moon. She's got a moonstone. She's got paper birches. She's got all of these white shells and alabaster and rocks, but then there's birds and there's polar bears, there's foxes. I just really love that. And I like how she's already taking me out of my making something look like white paper and making it really look like white, because there are very few things that are really white in nature. All of them do have kind of a color cast, but I want to bring you up to show you like the beauty up here of what she's done. Look at the art. I mean, I want to actually take a little bitty sketchbook and just go and do a bunch of white things like this. I like how she's got them all compiled together, right? It's not just one subject matter, and I really like how that gives you a really good feel of what white means. Here is yellow. I mean, look at the beauty. Again, she's got the colors down at the bottom. And look at the range, right? So you've got kind of the green yellow. You've got a more vanilla yellow. You've got more of an orange. And just look at all the beauty on these pages. I'm telling you, the pictures alone are amazing. Light brown. When was the last time that you thought of light brown as a color? I haven't. And look how she's done all the light browns down here. She's got like the beige, she's got a tan, she's got a more sand brown, a more deer brown. And I like all the kind of burnt siennas in there. But look at all the animals then she's making us think about. And look at the variation in color. So for me, thinking about how I can pull this into my art every day is if I want to do a study of brown, maybe I walk outside and I just collect brown things, brown leaves, some brown pods, some expired flowers, right? A lot of times those are brown looking. So it's making me think on a different level. And I like when a book does that. Look at this gorgeous snail up here. Just look at those really interesting browns. And just look right there if you were to do a color palette on that. I really like how it's making me think differently and more wide. I think giving me a wider range of things to think of for light brown. This is orange. This is red. Look at all these red birds. Pinks. Now pinks can give you a wide range, right? There's more of a yellow pink, there's more of a cooler pink, there's all the pinks in like more reddish, more bluish, and it's just a way to explore. But I love all the little different wildflowers that she's put together on the pages. There's shells over here and flamingos. It is making my brain almost like explode. I can hear every time I turn a page, it's like pew, pew, like little fireworks. And I love when something challenges me like that. I think this is going to be such a great book to explore into and make me think about what I want my pages to look like. I'm already inspired by this book. It's just more beautiful every page you go. And this is just the first book of hers. But what I also like is the textures that she's achieved. I like how she uses her color pencils to give you like texture on the mushrooms, on the owls. And let me show you like this beaver here. Look how cool he is. So do you see all the color pencil additions? And I like that because it's giving me a way to kind of study now and look at and say like, what do I want my color pencils to add to it? I like the idea that she's going deeper in the texture, especially in the mushrooms here. Can you see like under the mushroom cap, she's got all the little gills, but then she adds all the nice values. And yes, you can achieve those with watercolor, but with a sharp colored pencil, you can get a lot more details. And I'm willing to try that, but keep it on the illustrative side, which I think is another reason that I'm really drawn to her books here. Subject-wise, you know what they are. You know that's a horse. It's done in a style that shows personality, individuality, and also just what she was drawn to. You can see that she really liked the muscle structure of the horse here. She was drawn to the mane of the horse, and I like that. I like seeing what inspires her. Gray, I mean, look at these beautiful colors of gray. Even if I did nothing but study the colors that she's done down here at the bottom and what each one reminds me of, that would be a beautiful sketchbook. I mean, just think of that. Just color swatches like this and maybe some jotted down ideas of what it reminds you of. Black. Again, so many different varieties down here. And then she gives you a little bit of color mixing so that you can try and make all these different colors, which I really appreciate. So this one was Colors in Nature. The next one is Colors of Habitats. You're going to see different areas of nature and how it inspires you to look at it through a colored lens. Already excited. Look at the polar region. Now in this book too, because this is a color book, she's got colors up here. And I want you to just think of polar, right? It's cold, it's freezing, there's ice, there's all kinds of different things. So it's very much on the like bluish spectrum. Again, I love all the critters here and I love the way that she did it. My favorite is this whale right here. I want you to look at the texture of that whale. Isn't that amazing? And look at this whale here with all of his lines. That is the kind of thing that I am really inspired by, is looking at how she's taking a simple object. You know, think of a whale as pretty much just a little swirled shape. It's not real complicated, but yet she's added all that extra texture and richness into it. And she's made you like want to almost touch it and see if it's real. And I like that because it's got my brain going like, oh, I can take some of the abstract book that I did, the abstract watercolor book, and I can now add textures like that inside of some of the whales. That's what this one did, because I saw the circular pattern in that. And I just really like the color palette of this. It feels very much like some mountains and grasses, trees, just filled with nature, and I'm very inspired by that. A peat bog, again, those colors, such a lovely range of colors. And I was thinking to myself, I wonder what I could create with this color wheel. You know, think about those muted colors. What do you find in your area? What are you inspired by? How can you bring a palette or items to life using a beautiful color palette like this? It's intriguing. It's probably something a little more different than what I do. Yes, all the colors are muted, but it has a really nice violet. It's got a really nice burnt sienna. I'm in love with this raw sienna color. I like the idea of this brown. It's kind of deep. There's a nice blue there. So you can see one page after the other is just more beautiful, and it gets you inspired in different ways. So when you're looking at something like this to be inspired by color, I always go back to myself like, what would I do? You know, what would I do with this color palette? It's very bright for me, but it reminds me of the garden and what's blooming right now, and I'm very inspired by that. Such a beautiful book, and I find it challenging as well. You know, what could I do with this? How could I make something as beautiful like this for myself, but in my area, right? I'm in Northwest Indiana near Chicago, but what does a Savannah color palette look like in my area? How can I find things that represent these colors in my area? I always try to bring the books back to how they would inspire me. I love the idea of the cave here, being that it's grays and purple and pinks and greens and some different brown grays. But what does that remind me of for myself? What has inspired those colors here? So I'm thinking about walking in the woods, seeing all the different mushrooms and the lichen and the leaves that are on the ground from years and years and years, the dirt, the mosses. And I'm loving the idea of transferring her colors here into my own world. Again, she talks about color harmony in this book. And this one was, again, the colors of habitats. The third book I have for you is Shapes and Pattern in Nature. And this one's a little different, but wait till you see the art. Her shell page just has me dreaming of the sea and what kind of shells I could find. She talks about shapes and the repetition in nature. And here's what she's done on these pages. So instead of the colors, like here she's given like lance-shaped, oval, pinnate, trifoliate, and it's the shape of the leaves, right? How they end in sharp points, or are they rounded? Are they stacked upon one another? And let me show those to you at the bottom here. So isn't that a fun way to think about shapes and leaves? And for me, this makes me want to go out to my backyard and see all the different ones that I can find and what lives here. Plus, look at all the greens. I think it's just so lovely. Tree bark. I want you to think about the different tree barks that you have in your yard or even in your neighborhood. But it's already making me think about, again, my area and what that has. what adventures are awaiting for me, or what discoveries are awaiting me. And I'm really intrigued by that. Flowers, fruit and vegetables. I really, really like that. I like that she starts, look at the colors here. So it's very pink and red, and then it goes down to the greens and the yellows. And I just find that very inspiring. Nuts and seeds, my favorite. You know, I like pods. The shell page. Oh my gosh, you guys. Will you just look at the beauty of this page? This one shell right here just has me wishing I had a place to go look for shells. If anyone knows where I could find a shell like this, please let me know. Let me bring that up close. I love the details that she's added there. Do you see the striations and how it just looks circular and shaded? And yet the color combinations. So there's pinks and there's purples and there's grays. And it's just so beautiful. They're all lovely. Look at all those clamshells. I love the nautilus there. This page alone was worth the price of the book. Insects, fins and scales, which I love. Look at all the thickness of the skins here. Alligators. Birds and feathers. I really, really love this page by the way that she's got the birds, but then there's individual feathers throughout here. And she talks about different feathers along the bottom, which I think is very beautiful. Look at his head. That's amazing. Fur and hair. I mean, look how many objects are here that you can study from. Don't you just want to go to the zoo now? I know I do. And here she talks about the different patterns. So like there's stripes. There's just this whole thing has stripes. This whole little section has dots. And that's a fun way to categorize something, maybe in your sketchbook. Maybe you go out one day, you're looking for round shapes. So what right now has round shapes? We have poppies blooming everywhere. So they have the round centers, they have the round pods, and the petals are beautifully round. The whole shape is a round cluster. Think of the poppy shape, but then it's got that really dark center. And then as the stamen come out as well, they form another circle. So it's like a circle within a circle within a circle. And I love that. And making me think of it in dots versus a flower is something different. And I like when it makes me think in a different perspective and experience it in a different way. So instead of thinking poppy as a flower, thinking it of a circular object that I can maybe abstract it out is a fun way to do that. And something like this was never on my radar before. So as you can see, these 3 books are filled with inspiration. They were not very expensive at all, and they will give me hours and hours of sketchbook play. Not just in the sense of looking at her book and giving me color swatches or techniques or studying the way that she's layered. It's also making me think about my own area. So when I'm out on a walk, I think I'm going to look at things differently because it's sparked something inside of me that makes me want to go out as a curious observer. You know, maybe take out a little magnifying glass so that I can really get up close and personal and see what's there to be discovered. And that's because of Magdalena's illustrations. They just have my brain on fire, and I can hear the little fireworks going off, the little popping of sparks and curiosity, and I'm wanting to go outside and explore. So I hope you enjoyed seeing the beautiful work of Magdalena in these 3 books. I hope they also have made you think about what you can do in your area to take them one step further, make it more personal to you, more playful, more studious, more observant, but also create a sketchbook for yourself to look at over and over and over in the way that it motivated you to stylize your art. If you were inspired by today's video, please give me a like or a comment. If you haven't subscribed, please click the box. And as always, Thanks for spending time with me in the studio.